if you listen to a bunch of different reporters and outlets out there, they make it sound like Clemson football completely fell off. But the Tigers haven't gone anywhere. Sure, yes, the ACC's gotten a little bit tougher, and yes, they've had a couple seasons where they've had more than 2 losses, and yeah, they haven't won a national championship since 2018, but this is still a team that's made the college football playoff in 3 of the last 6 years, that has won the ACC in 4 of the last 6 years, and now they are the reigning ACC champions heading into the 2025 season, a year where they could do something very, very special. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Breaking down some Clemson football. Not sharing our official prediction just yet, but previewing the Tigers and what could be shaping up for a massive 2025 season. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our weekly newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content that you do not want to miss, because again, here at our channel, college football never dies. It never ends. We are talking college football with you year-round. So no off-season, no time off. We are here with you, for you, the college football fan. And we'd love you to become a member of our GE Nation, to talk ball with us, and just take advantage of all this content. So let's talk Clemson. I am so excited for this team in 2025. And if you look at what we saw in 2024, Clemson was a solid football team, right? 10-4, made the college football playoff because they won the ACC championship thanks to Syracuse. They owe Syracuse a big one. The Orange beat Miami in the season finale. It opened the door for Clemson to slip in there. They beat SMU. They got into the playoff before losing to Texas in the opening round. But a 10-4 record, won the conference, made the college football playoff, only lost to Georgia, Louisville, South Carolina, and then, of course, Texas in the playoffs. So 3 of their 4 losses coming outside of conference play, 3 of their 4 losses coming to teams within the SEC. So this is still a very, very good football team in 2024, and they're going to be even better in 2025. And we're going to tell you why that is. One of the biggest reasons is because they have the most returning production in college football this year. And that's dangerous. You've got one of the best coaches in the game right now, Dabo Swinney. You've got a team that was in the college football playoff last year, is a conference champion from last year, and now they've returned the most production in all of college football. It's very rare for that to happen. 81%, that's how much is coming back for Clemson. 81% of their production from last year is returning, and a lot of it is coming on the offensive side of the ball. Cade Klubnik is a major reason that Clemson took a step forward last year and Clemson made the college football playoff. His progression from 2023 to 2024 was unbelievable. He went from throwing for a little over 2,800 yards in 2023 to over 3,600 yards in 24. Went from 19 touchdowns in 2023 to 36 touchdowns in 2024. Reduced his interception total from 9 to 6. And improved his rushing total from 182 rushing yards in 2023 to 463 rushing yards in 2024. He improved drastically. What we expected to see from him and Garrett Riley in 2023 is what we ended up getting in 2024. And now 2025 could end up being the best year yet because Klubnik returns, very experienced, clearly took that big leap. His top receivers are returning, every single one of them. Antonio Williams leads the way, had 904 yards and 11 touchdowns last year. But he returns along with TJ Moore, Bryant Westco, Tyler Brown when he gets back from injury. So much production and talent coming back. Klubnik's going to have his dual threat capability slightly, but some of the best receivers in the ACC at his disposal. That is absolutely massive. So the offense is going to look really dang good. And Klubnik continues to play at this level, maybe even takes a little bit more of a step forward. The offense, for them, sky's the limit. Defense, typically very strong for Clemson. Going to be so once again. It pretty much returns all intact. Yeah, there's a couple guys in the secondary. Yeah, a few guys up front on the defensive line. But for the most part, this defense is pretty much intact. They returned their top tackler and Wade Woodaz at linebacker. Sammy Brown also paired with him at the linebacking core. So that linebacking core is going to be the anchor of this defense. The defensive line looking to be strong as always. And in the secondary, you've got a guy like Avion Terrell. You've got a guy like Ashton Hampton. So you are loaded at all 3 levels on the defensive side of the ball for a defense that traditionally, even in their down years, is pretty dang solid. Even with the change of coordinators and things like that, it remains pretty solid and continues to produce elite talent. So the offense is looking great. The defense is looking great. We'll get this too. It wasn't the biggest development in the world, but Dabo Swinney has always been, I guess, against the transfer portal, against NIL, against things like that. But as we all know, if you want to continue to compete at a high level in this day and age of the sport, You've got to adapt with the times. You have to adapt and use the transfer portal. You've got to get involved with NIL. If you don't do that, good for you, that's fine, but you're probably not going to win much. So when he recognized that, and for what felt like the first time ever, actually dipped into the transfer portal and got a couple key playmakers. One of them is wide receiver Tristan Smith. Got him from Southeast Missouri. He had 934 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. So we talked about how great that wide receiver core was for Cade Klubnik and the weapons that he had. Those were just the guys that were coming back. Now they add an elite talent from the transfer portal to go along with him. Great extra depth and talent in the event that someone does go down or doesn't perform the way that we expected them to. He also added Will Helt in from defense from Purdue. One of the most coveted defensive transfers in the portal is last year. He committed to Clemson, 68 tackles, 5 sacks, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown in his 2 years with the Boilermakers. So, again, we said they lost a few guys up front on the defensive line. Had some good talent coming back. Maybe need to fill up a few more holes. Helt's going to do just that. Defensive line strong. The linebacking core, top 2 guys have come back, as we mentioned. And the secondary looking very good as well. This Clemson team, guys, is stacked from top to bottom. You've got a great head coach. You've got a very experienced quarterback. The defense is great. The wide receiver core is great. Yeah, running back might need a little work because Maffa's gone, but fine. This Clemson team is set up for a big-time run. And I just think people slept on this team. You looked at Clemson last year. They did get lucky. If Syracuse doesn't beat Miami, Clemson does not go to the ACC championship. They don't go to the playoff, and maybe people aren't talking about them like they are now. Maybe people still aren't talking about them enough. Because they're looking at that. They were 10-4. They lost by 14 to Texas. This team isn't good, whatever you want to say. But bottom line is, this team is very, very good. And they've also got a pretty dang good schedule to help them run the table. As we know, in this new era of college football, especially with the 12-team playoff, you can afford a loss or two and still get in. Heck, Clemson had 3 regular season losses last year, but only one of them came in conference play, and they still were able to get into the college football playoff mainly because they won their conference. So, again, you can lose a game or two and still get in there. When you look at Clemson's schedule, they open the year at home against LSU. Talking about a massive, massive game to boost that resume. Talk about a massive opportunity to get a win over a good LSU team at your house and have that on your resume at the end of the year if you need it. Could help with your seeding, or it could help with whether or not you get in or not if they don't end up winning the ACC. So that's a big-time game there. And Clemson already a slight favorite, about a 2.5 point favorite as of right now, though that could change over the coming months. And keep in mind, Clemson lost 4 games last year. 3 of them came to SEC opponents. Can they get over the hump and beat a good SEC opponent in the Tigers? But after that, at Georgia Tech, they host Syracuse. They go on the road to North Carolina and Bill Belichick. Maybe the Tar Heels won't live up to the expectations. I think people are maybe overreacting, thinking they can become elite contenders in year 1 under Belichick, but should be an intriguing game nonetheless. They host SMU in an ACC championship rematch. They host Florida State, and then they do travel to Louisville and to South Carolina. Out of all the games I just mentioned, I think their toughest games are LSU, and then the 2 road games at Louisville and at South Carolina. Well, guess what? 2 of those are against SEC teams. 2 of those are in the non-conference. So if Clemson takes care of business, we honestly, I don't think they're going to be a 3-loss team. I don't expect that to happen. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But regardless, even if they lost all 3 of those games that I mentioned and ran the table the rest of the way, that's 1 conference loss in what appears to be a wide-open ACC. Probably would be good enough to get them into the championship game. And again, 1 win from there, you're back in the college football playoff. This is a year where that's the expectation, right? I think for the last few years, probably the last decade, that's been the expectation for Clemson. Make the playoff, compete for a national title. They will do that again this year. Some of the biggest games for them coming at home. The team is stacked from top to bottom to the point where they can compete and win games on the road. And again, 1 slip up here or there is not going to completely ruin their season. This, to me, is a college football playoff team. And unlike last year where you thought, okay, they got in, they went to Texas, no one gave them much of a shot, and they didn't have much of a shot. Got torched, lost by 14. This year, no one is going to want to see the Tigers in the playoff. Whether it's in the second round, the opening round, doesn't matter where it is, no one's going to want to see Clemson. This is not just a playoff team. This is a college football national championship caliber team. Do not sleep on the Tigers in Death Valley. They never went anywhere, but if you thought they did, prepare to get proven wrong. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Continuing nonstop college football content all off-season long. The season never dying here at our channel. All the more reason to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below and just become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.